Some say a disaster. Could be a gift. Yeah, I'll let you decide. Here it is, your dose of disaster. Don't smack nothing, just sit back and relax. And as usual, you've been warned.
My fiancé, male 22, was injured over a month ago and had surgery to correct things literally 2 days after the accident. I, 21-year-old female, have been by his side the entire time. I have more or less become his caregiver. In the last month, I have taken over the role of keeping our house together. I cook all the meals and I take care of the pets. I stay up all night to tend to his endless needs. I take him to the bathroom whenever. This is possible because I have been working remotely. I haven't left the house for more than an hour since the accident, aside from taking him to and from appointments. I am not saying this to complain. I am grateful that my life allows for me to support him the way I have. My problem is his attitude. He was given very strong painkillers for the first 2 weeks after surgery. He had to extend his time on them and recently stopped taking them in the last week. When he was taking them, he thanked me, told me how much he loved me, apologized at every step, though he didn't need to. Without the meds, he doesn't seem to see that I am helping him. Every dish I bring him is the wrong one. He will yell for me, and when I come, he will tell me to fuck off. If he's in pain, he expects me to fix it. I am exhausted. I can't do anything right, and it is wearing on me. I haven't slept in weeks. I haven't seen a friend or family member in way too long time. I can't even be on the phone for more than 10 minutes without it being an issue. After days of what turned into verbal abuse, I called my mother-in-law. I told her everything as soon as I saw he was asleep. I cried for about 15 minutes. I felt terrible unloading on her like that, but I had so much built-up frustration I just couldn't stop. She was very supportive on the phone, let me know I wasn't wrong to feel like that, and let me cry. After hearing everything, she was furious and ended our call to talk to her son. She tore him a new one without mercy. I heard him trying to defend himself through the door, but it was mostly just stammering. She flew down yesterday and put me up in a nice hotel. I haven't heard much from my fiancé since I left, but as I was leaving, he was yelling at me for calling his mom. He yelled that he didn't want to marry someone who couldn't be there for him in sickness. I told him I loved him and I was sorry. I am just so tired. He didn't care and just told me to get lost, and his mom could do a better job for him than I ever could. So now I'm on my way to a nice hotel room, feeling like a major worthless woman. I'm here because I need to know if I am wrong here. Here are some extra details. He began weaning off 2 weeks ago and became fully dependent on over-the-counter medication this week. He did not stop taking them cold turkey. His doctors were heavily involved too, due to his previous drug abuse. The following part is added to this post, 1 day later. Mother-in-law is taking him back to their hometown once they can get flights together. I'll stay in this hotel until then. Fiancé doesn't want to talk yet, and to be honest, I don't blame him. He knows what's coming and that I'm pissed. I'll go visit him in a week, so I have until then to decide how I want to move forward. My mother called last night about a venue she found in my hometown, and I told her what's going on. She doesn't want to spend a bunch of money on a pending divorce, so we are stepping back from planning. Not much more to add. I'm excited to see my pets and be able to sleep in my own bed. I'm going to try to make my sister fly to my state so I can have some company. That's pretty much it. I'm in serious awe about how I let my life get like this, but oh well. Today will be better.
Hey OP, could his attitude be the withdrawal from the pain meds?
He behaves like this frequently when in pain, just never to this degree. I can promise you that he had been weaned off and would tell me if that's what he was feeling. I have seen him go through much worse withdrawals when we first met. And this isn't that. He is lashing out on me in pain, which I get. I was the only person around. He has a history of drug addiction, so I took administration of the pills very seriously. Due to his history, we worked very closely with his psychiatric team and the orthopedic to make his weaning period as easy as possible. I should have put that in the post, but I need to emphasize that he did not stop cold turkey. Is this abnormal behavior? He has what some would call a short fuse, especially with me. Him saying hurtful remarks to me, or just blatantly putting me down, is not necessarily uncommon and is something we are working on. Prior to this, he would apologize and make it up to me. Now, even when I'm in tears, he will just keep laying on insults. Being away and able to process the last month of my life has been eye-opening. I couldn't imagine trying to care for a child under conditions like that. I couldn't imagine how frustrated I would be. His injury is in his arm. He can walk freely. He can use his left hand, which is his dominant one. I understand that he is in pain and it's awful, but I have had a friend with much worse injuries help us move. I'm thinking about returning my ring. So now, 8 days later, I've added the following in the comments section. I've returned. My last night in the hotel, I called my parents to make plans, and in short, it didn't go well. I'm forced to stay with my fiancé again. He won't talk to me except to bark orders at me. I'm hoping I can move out within a month or two. Surgery and recovery are expensive, and we have been living on my income for some time, and I'm pretty broke, but I'm keeping my head up, and I'm confident I can get myself out. Why didn't he go with his mom? I know she pushed for him to go home, but he is a very stubborn, boy. Thank you all. I will be okay. Hello. I'll just post here so I can do it faster. I went home 2 days after the last post. Things were sad. My mother-in-law had cleaned, but the energy in the house was a bummer. The first thing he said to me when I got back was, "I'm glad you're back. Can you make me a snack?" There was no apology, no accountability, just a task I couldn't refuse without igniting his tantrums. He only talked to me when he needed something, and his attitude was worsening. My mother-in-law took the rest of the prescribed opiates, so I knew he wasn't using. The weekend following the mother-in-law debacle, my wonderful fiancé told me he had friends coming to stay for the weekend. 2-hour heads up. Didn't ask. I sighed, but surrendered to it and made up the guest room. His friend and his friend's girlfriend came to stay. During the stay, my fiancé bought me flowers, got out of bed daily, took me out, and let me call my parents unsupervised. The day they left, he made a 180 and was back to bed with a shitty attitude. I wish I could say I am in my own apartment with my pets and a bottle of rosé. That's just for me and positive vibes. Or with my girlfriends that I haven't seen in months. Unfortunately, I'm writing this on the couch, while I listen to the music that are his endless demands. However, I do have a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm scared to leave him in person, but he's leaving the country for a month in April. My sister lives abroad, and I'm working on escaping to her during that month. It's a process, especially with pets, but I look forward to getting there. My mother hasn't spoken to me since I told her I was returning the ring because that's not what we do. We clean our messes. But I have my father's unwavering support. I'll miss my mother-in-law, but I deserve that kindness and understanding from my partner, not his mother. I have stopped forcing myself to find the joy in his presence, and it's helping to fuel my drive to get out of here. I may update again when I get to my sister, but don't be surprised if I do my best to put this chapter behind me. Thanks for the kind words. I hope you all get the love and hugs you need.
Hello, OP. Why isn't he with his mom?
Mother-in-law was planning on taking him. He refused. Things got very bad since I posted this. I'm currently in my childhood room at my father's, decently hungover, and I am officially a single lady. Someone said a thing about calling my parents unsupervised. Well, I called my sister once when I was scared of him a while back, and, she called the police. He liked to be in the room when I was talking to family following that incident, so I didn't say anything dramatic. I should have seen how bad it was. Typing that out just feels gross.
Could you go a little more into about what happened? Are you and your pets safe?
I don't want to get too into it, but we had a bad night. It ended with me locked out on the balcony. I still have some bruising. I was able to call my father on my watch, and we made a plan to get me home the next morning. The pets are safe. They aren't in my arms yet, but I should get them back next week. I'm with my dad for now.
Royal A.I.
It's been some time, and I finally feel comfortable enough with my situation to update y'all. My pets and I are safely with my father. We've been here a couple weeks, and things are going well. I'm working remote, but also searching for a new position closer to my hometown, so I can still have a social life. My animals are adapting to life without their dad, and I'm doing my best to join them. My ex and I were high school sweethearts. I have been through most major life events with him. There is only a small fraction of my life as an adult that I have been through without him. Leaving was really hard. I am still second-guessing myself, but I realized recently that by not enabling his shitty behavior, I really am helping him. He went on his planned trip, and I took that opportunity to get everything I needed from our shared home and made arrangements going forward for my lease. He took his trip as an opportunity to reflect on his behavior within our relationship, specifically the last year. He said he's pretty disappointed in himself. It seems that the company he was on vacation with helped to hold a pretty clear mirror to his face, and he was miserable with what he saw. I feel sad he's having a hard time with this self-awareness, but I do really appreciate the accountability that came his way. I'd like to add that I don't hold any resentment towards him. I am hurt and disappointed in the way he felt he could treat me, but I don't hate him. I was sad to hear how upset he was with himself, though a little relieved I wasn't being painted as the crazy ex I was sure he would paint me as. Since getting home, he has started therapy and is looking for a new sponsor. We talk about once a week so he can see his pets. I also do not mind the positive updates. When we talk, it's respectful. There is still love, but I've set boundaries that keep him from hounding me about our relationship. I have also started a new therapy. This is my first serious breakup, and the aftershock is real. It's hard to lose your best friend, future husband, and father of your fur babies in one go. I am confident, however, that this is essential to both of our growth. I'm happy that we can have a respectful, albeit small relationship. Who knows what the future holds? But for now, I'm doing my best to be content with this new independence, and grateful my life can go through roadblocks, and I can get through easily, thanks to my amazing support system. I still haven't spoken with my mother. That will be much later, and I will be requiring a serious apology. I love my mom, but I'm not going to stand for her demanding I make really unhealthy choices to appease her, and so she doesn't have to be embarrassed by my broken home. I mean, come on, I'm 21. I am young, smart, and pretty, and I have a really good kind life in my future. Someone commented that it's good his behavior is improving, but emphasized that I shouldn't rejoin the relationship. Well, absolutely. I'm pleased to see progress. Period. I have zero intentions of rejoining that relationship. I am just really happy that he is also getting a new start that is positive, and I am proud of him for taking it seriously and getting the help he needs. I was fully expecting self-destruction while blaming me, and instead, he's owning up to his mistakes and trying to do better for himself. Thank you for helping me not settle for comfortable. I hope I never have to update again, and I hope you are all having a really good weekend. Small, important update here. I left out of my last post, my final interaction with my ex. It didn't seem too important at the time, but we had a final hookup the last time I saw him. I am now pregnant. This was my biggest fear while with him, having a child and being solely responsible for them. I am now in that exact position, and I told my ex a couple days after I found out. I assured him that this changes nothing about our relationship, but as he is the father, he has the right to be involved in the conversation. He declared he is moving to my hometown, and he will be. The best goddamn father I've ever seen. I have my doubts. I am full of anxiety. I've barely learned how to treat myself correctly. I want my kid to be beyond loved, and most of all, safe. I want my child to have everything in the world and more. I don't know how to do that on my own. I'm encouraged to see my ex making big boy steps to be a part of our kid's life. But I'm also cautious he's doing all this to get back in my good graces. I can't be a mom to my ex and my future child. I can't fall back into the same dynamic that made me leave. I am doing what I can to stay strong and hold my ground, but then he sends flowers, or a massage certificate, or a pregnancy bump box. Every gift, every check and text, and every mention of our baby gets me closer to going back to him. I don't really know why I'm posting this. I guess it's cathartic to get this all down and out in my own words. It's hard to write your own narrative in your words, in a small, gossipy hometown. Don't believe the empowering lies. It's hard to be pregnant and single. But the hardest thing is telling your father that you're expecting, no matter how old you are. I know we will be okay. I am already trying everything in my power to be a good mom already. I am trying to be respectful to everyone I can regarding the situation. But damn, it's tough. Anyway, that's my ramble. I doubt anyone reads these anymore, but I'm glad I said it. A lot of people asked about me being sure to be tied to him for the rest of my life, and that I should wake up. I'm not going back. I'm not too sure about much right now. I do know that I already love this baby more than I can say. I know that he loves our baby already too, and that's all I really care about. His mom is good at reining him in, and I have to believe that things are going to be normal and safe. My mom and I have always had a rocky relationship. I went to live with my dad as soon as I could decide and kept my contact with her minimal. After high school, I moved away for college and for a better job, together with my ex. My mom followed me to my new city, and we tried to rebuild our relationship. Unfortunately, I got scared of the choices I made when I was with her, so I went back to low contact, and she moved back to my hometown. Unfortunately, recently, my life turned upside down. Long story short, my boyfriend and I broke up. I moved home with my dad and got a new and better job. Then I found out I was pregnant. My dad has a full house, and I made the decision to move to my mother's guest house for my pregnancy, so I can save more money for the baby and move out once it's around 2 months old. The timeline works for my finances, and I figured, since I'm just on her property, not main house, it might be easy to keep a low profile. How naive. After work, daily she comes over to check on me. She hasn't failed to offer me an alcoholic beverage. Not once since I moved in. She chain smokes right outside my bedroom daily, and she stays late. I know it's her home. I know that she's very kind to have me here, but I'm growing a person right now. I am preparing myself for motherhood. Single motherhood. I work long, demanding hours. I am stressed and isolated. I would love a freaking drink, but I'm pregnant. I can't drink, even when she insists one wouldn't be too bad. I know I can't. I thought I had to tell her about needing a bit more space, but the time I brought it up, I was screamed at, and she told me to leave in the morning. It was really upsetting and stressful. I feel like she comes here to bait me into picking a fight, so she can pull every power play to make me feel small. So anyway, Mom, I love you, but for fuck's sake, I am trying to give our entire family a healthy new friend. I am trying to reestablish myself as an adult in the town I was a child in. I am trying to do better for myself and my baby. Please respect that for me. Please respect that enough for your grandchild. I love you, so please try to love me. Hey Reddit, it's been a while. My life has flipped me in every direction, but I am finally in a place where I am happy and confident enough in my situation and decisions to loop my internet friends in. I started a new job several months ago. It was up my alley, and the pay is amazing. I was living with my mother in order to save up during my pregnancy, but when she told me to get out, well, I could prolong it a bit. Shortly after that, I started my job, and I immediately moved out. Besides the pay and the career boost, I have found very meaningful relationships within the company. I met a group of coworkers on my first day that I was immediately attracted to. They are adventurous and kind, outgoing people. I started building my relationships with them, and eventually, they became some of the closest people to me. They have been supportive of all my struggles from this year, and I would not have been able to get through my miscarriage without all the love they had given me. I miscarried in my second trimester. It was hell. I have never been more upset with my body. I felt I had failed my child. There was nothing I could do to take that pain away. It still breaks my heart on a daily basis, but I have been getting through it and a little stronger every day. My ex lost his mind when he found out. He said I took his family from him, and he would never forgive me for this. He threatened to sue for the emotional distress I had caused him. It was unbelievable. The month after my miscarriage, I started seeing one of my new work friends. He's a bit older than me, and is everything I have ever wanted. He is quite literally the opposite of my ex. He cooks and cleans, he makes me feel beautiful and smart, and all the things my ex would say I wasn't. I have found a new version of myself this year. I have made good friends who support me every day. I have found things I love to do and have been able to restart hobbies I gave up because my ex demanded that. I found a person who makes me want to do better every day. I know this is long, so I'll wrap it up. I have never been happier in my life. I know it's dumb to say, but I genuinely thank Reddit for this. It was hard to read some comments, but it gave the strength and understanding I needed to stop settling for someone who didn't care about me. I truly hope this is the last time any of you will see a post from me, so, thank you all.
I'm sorry that you had a miscarriage. That's heartbreaking, but you will never have to see your ex in your life again. He is a horrible person and would have been a horrible father. You keep on going upward in your life. Never ever settle for anything that's less than you deserve.
This is going to sound awful, but the miscarriage was a blessing in disguise. It's like your body. Body ended up being the smartest person in your entire post. You need some alone time. You should not be dating already. Your ex was your high school sweetheart. You weren't even single for like 6 months. Again, you need some solo time.
Agree completely. She needs therapy and a role model. This girl makes bad choices. Never in my freaking life would someone lock me on a damn balcony. And then I continue to sleep with them. Then she was gonna be a single mom and expected her toxic mother to be there for her. Like, girl, get it to freaking gether.
Praying that this new guy is truthfully a good man. Not gonna lie, when she said he's a bit older than her, I was worried. She's around 22, just went through a major traumatic event after coming out of an abusive long-term relationship 5 months prior. That's prime meat for a manipulative, controlling type.
She has no business being in any sort of relationship until she addresses in herself what made her feel so worthless that she would sleep with a man again. After he physically assaulted her and locked her on a balcony based on her post timelines, no more than a week after it happened. That's some serious dysfunction that she really cannot unravel without a professional, maybe several.
Royal A.I.
Reddit. We meet again. I seem to wander here when I don't have anyone to talk to about what's going on in my life. I have been hit with a slurry of responses each time. Some positive, some calling me an idiot, some telling me how lucky I am that my baby passed. Regardless of the context of my posts, I have never gotten a response here that I also would have got from someone in my life who actually knows me. I guess that's why I keep coming back. Well, here I am, and life is looking good. If you have read my post history, 20 to 23 was a doozy for me. I ended my engagement, I moved back to my hometown. I found out I was expecting and prepared myself for motherhood. I found out my baby no longer had a heartbeat and prepared myself to deliver a child I would never get to know. I was let down by my family. But then, most importantly, I fell in love. Here's a little recap and update on my ex. I've told you that I met my ex-fiancé in high school. We grew up together in many ways, the darkest times in my life. He was there. Happier moments too. But I never felt complete with him. I was always looking for more stimulation. I wanted more of life. I always thought it was because we had different love languages and attachment styles, but I learned later that we were simply incompatible people. My ex was always miserable, and you know what they say about misery. I left that relationship with nothing but fear. He fought me tooth and nail for all of our joint assets. We are young, but he came from money, and I worked my ass off to buy us a little townhome in our old city. He now has sole ownership. I was pregnant and living on my mother's property when my lawyer told me how cutthroat through we're playing. I resigned. He could have anything he wanted. I just wanted peace. He tried to get my car too, but I had enough in my corner to prove that was mine and only mine. I also realized that I had given him everything I was too. So, back to me now. I had not been honest to who I was or what I wanted since high school, and who actually knows who they are and what they want at 15. Certainly not me. I found myself back at square one. I was home, watched over by my parents and siblings. I was learning who I was again. But this time, I only had to think for myself. I felt like I just restarted life. I got a job in my field, and I set out to take life by the horns and create a new reality for me and my baby. When I started my job, I knew on the first day that I would be friends with my coworkers. There was a group of them that were just so attractive to me. They were everything I wanted to be: beautiful, bubbly, charming, adventure-seeking. I could go on. I remember feeling super intimidated that first time I interacted with them. We worked different departments, so there wasn't a ton of overlap, but every time I talked to one of them, I felt like I was in middle school again, and a popular girl had just complimented my top. A month or two after I started my job, I got a wave of courage and invited them out with me that weekend. Obviously pregnant and starting to show, I offered to drive as well. They were in. We hung out that weekend, and from then on, I was just one of them. They became some of the closest people to me. I actually showed one of them this account. The group consisted of 6 people. They all meant the world to me, but one of them really stuck out to me. He was also a director of his department. Of our friends, we were the only 2 directors, so we sat in on several meetings together. He stuck out to me from his radiating smile and never-ending brilliance. He put out many fires in my department, which was like asking a librarian to perform surgery. Our responsibility have absolutely no overlap. He was driven, kind, and almost 10 years older than me. Whenever I saw him, I had hearts in my eyes. We started seeing each other pretty quick, and he was my strength when I lost my baby. I spent every day with him. I would have to remind myself to go home, or I would just stay with him. But he couldn't do anything serious, and almost as soon as he became the best part of life, he started climbing the ropes to the hardest part of life. He drew me in, cooked for me, held while my world shattered, wrote to me, sang for me, then took it all away. For a while I thought, if I did things right, he would come back. We never stopped seeing each other, but lines were becoming blurry. He had no trouble bringing home different girls when he would come out with me. I fell into a deep rut and realized the only way to get out would be to sever things with him. He took it well, promised to remain friends. He transferred branches a week later. Once he was gone and I fell out of his orbit, I had a good look at myself. I realized how I have loved with every ounce of me and never asked for it back. I realized I had started to grow a human inside of me, one I never got to properly grieve. I realized that I had only ever worked and loved. I never just took time to be me. I have taken back my health. I used to be very conscious about what I consumed, but then I got pregnant and never got back on track. I ended up gaining 53 pounds through all of the events of 20 to 23. I have now lost 48 of those pounds. I have always been a little underweight prior to last year, but now I just feel healthy. I found the most adorable home. My kitties and I absolutely love it. We live right in town, and I have had the time of my life making it mine. I got promoted at work just after New Year's. This promotion comes with a lot of opportunity for travel, so I am preparing my lifestyle for those changes. But most importantly, I have learned to have fun or boredom, or sadness, or anything I need with just myself. I never thought I could do that. Last year took everything I ever knew and threw it out the window. I hope I never have lows that low again. But I am endlessly grateful because now I know how good those highs feel. I don't think I will be opening this account again, so, thank you to all, and bye-bye.
I'm so sorry you had to go through so much pain and hardship this past year, but it sounds like you have faced it all and have come through to the other end a mature, brave young woman. It's so nice to hear you are learning to be content on your own. It can be super hard to do at any age. Whilst I hope we'll get to read from you again in the future with more positive updates, I am so happy for you and wish you the best.
I found your profile and posts through subreddits. This post was not included in those, but I'm glad I read it. Finally, a smart choice on your part. It's good that you take some time to get to know yourself properly. The jumping in a new relationship was just stupid, if I may be frank. I hope you take your time to reflect and to find out what you want from life. You're still very young. Also, there's nothing wrong with having intimacy, but please do it safe and only get pregnant if you really want to. If you dislike protection, you can use birth control by taking a daily pill or by getting an IUD. I myself am not a woman, but my partner does have an IUD since a few years and is, as far as I know, very satisfied with it. Please give it a thought, even though you might intend to stay single for a while. Being prepared is better than having to find solutions. I hope I haven't offended you by some of the harsher wording, but I wish you nothing but the best in the future. Take care, and please, be smart in future decisions.
That brings us to the end. So far. What would you advise OP? Let us know in the comments. You like the way these stories are brought to you? If so, I got you covered. More like this on my channel. Thank you for staying till the end. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode. See you in the next one.